Hey guys, it's your boy Ultraman here, and today I'm going to be doing a topic battle of Jim Lake Jr. versus Link. So y'all are probably saying, hey, Ultraman, didn't you already talk about Jim versus Link in the past? And to that, yeah, I have. Although, to be fair, I made that video when I didn't have so much information on Troll Hunters or Legend of Zelda scaling, so it's a lot out of date. So I think it's time for a new one. Also, if Death Battle can do Superman versus Goku 3 times, I think I could do a rematch between these two sword fighters at least once. Also, if you're confused about the rules about how I do these well, go watch the other power scaling videos. So with that said, let's just get into the video right now. This time we are basically going to be starting with the star of my channel being James Lake Jr. For starters, Jim should at least be in the small building level ranges with being able to destroy stone troll statues and being able to destroy fire hydrants. Jim also has town level arguments with being able to harm stocklings which get one shot by lightning blast. We then later see that he's capable of killing Bular, who is shown to be comparable to the Amulet of Daylight, which is powerful enough to charge the Heart of Avalon, which is powered by time itself. Jim is also able to harm trolls like Gato, who is a mountain troll. Jim later in the season is capable of fighting against Angor Rot, who scales to his own magic, which is capable of tearing through space and time. Jim in Season 2 is capable of killing the Allographs, which a single one of those things is capable of causing mountain-level earthquakes. Jim is also capable of fighting his biggest fear in the deep, which is a version of himself with more trollish-like features, proving that he is relative to a trollish version of himself. Now in Season 3, we know that Jim is capable of fighting Strickler and Namor at the same time, while both of these characters can harm characters like Bular and a weaker Gunmar. We know Jim should scale way above Claire and Toby during Season 3 of Troll Hunters, which both of them are capable of fighting Morgana, who is an Eldritch Queen of the 7th Plane of Reality, which should put her in the 7D ranges. In fact, Toby is capable of destroying her ancient weapon, being the Shadow Staff, and Toby's hammer can also destroy the Amulet of Daylight as well. Now we can fast forward to the movie in which even Jim without his armor can survive hits from Belrock, who is comparable to Merlin. When we see Jim with his new amulet, he is shown to be on par with full power Belrock, whose power was capable of creating the entire universe and shaping reality itself, which means that Belrock's magic transcends the concepts of the universe and reality itself. Jim is able to battle against Belrock mainly due to the fact that he has Excalibur, which is a very powerful weapon that is imbued with Merlin's magic and created by Nimue, a goddess who has wish manipulation and can grant the user any wish. The sword is also superior to the Omniscience Stone, which is capable of projecting other timelines, which is scaled to at least Multiversal Plus. Now we can get onto Jim's durability. For starters, he's consistently able to take hits from Bular, who again scales the Amulet of Daylight. Jim is also capable of surviving Lightning Blast, which fried a Stockling. He can also survive Shadow Magic Blast from Angor Rot, and also hits from Draw, who can match Bular in a fight. Season 2, he can consistently be able to survive hits from Gunmar, who stated that the Sword of Daylight couldn't kill him. Not to mention, Gunmar is capable of destroying the Killahead Bridge, which can survive the energy output from the Amulet of Daylight. With his Magic Tech armor, his durability should be up there with his AP, which again matches up to Prime Belrock. Also, I'd like to add that his armor should be more durable than Arg, who survived the full blast from Morgana with Merlin's magic. So take that with you when you take in consideration for his durability. Now we can get on to Jim's CR speed. For starters, he should at least be MFTL plus, considering that he scales to characters who can fight and react to God Miranda, who can hit Acaridian ships mid-flight. Now for his higher metas, he should have a measurable reaction combat speed with being able to react and fight Troll Hunter spirits in a realm beyond and outside of time and space. Not to mention, he scales to characters who can react to things in the Shadow Realm, which is also outside the universe with time and space. Jim should also be in the relevant tiers, considering that he can fight Belrock, who transcends all the universe's concepts, which is a qualification for a relevant speed. So now we can get onto the weapons that Jim will have access to in this fight. For this fight, he will have the Amulet's weapons, Excalibur, which is a weapon on par with Belrock's staff, and magic. The Kairos, which allows Jim to pause and manipulate time, and he also has the Time Stone, which controls Time Infinite, which allows him to create a new timeline and see the future of how he dies or future outcomes. So yeah, for his low ends, his AP and durability is universal, his mid ends is complex multiversal, and his higher ends is outerversal plus. Now for his CR speed, his low ends are MFTL plus, his mid ends are immeasurable, and his higher ends are irrelevant. So yeah, now that we finished Jim's segment, we can now talk about the Hero of the Wild. Now we can finally talk about the Hero of the Wild, whose name is Link. For starters in the game, bystanders to the Dragon Pharaohs have once split the single mountain into dueling peaks. with the highest of the mountain being 437 meters, which means the feat would yield to 206 trillion joules of energy equal to 50 kilotons of TNT. Link can defeat Malice constructs capable of possessing the similar dragon, and he can stagger and knock a scale off the dragon as well. Link is also capable of fighting off the champions in a 1v4 even before he has his powerful Master Sword. These champions are also said to be just as impressive as the Divine Beast they pilot. All of this should at least put Link's output as 2 megatons, which is around large town level to city level with attack potency. Link is also able to battle electric Wizzrobes that can cause entire skies in Hyrule to darken with manifesting clouds and thunderstorms from the air. For the speed these guys are doing, this would equivalent to around 7 teratons of TNT, which should put them in the country level ranges of AP. Link is also superior to Calamity Ganon, who can cause the Blood Moon by moving the moon in front of the sun in a couple of seconds, which would require the force of 22.7 yotatons, which is equivalent to the force you would need to destroy a planet. Now we could talk about the Master Sword, which the power of the Master Sword depends on how much the sacred power has the sword absorbed. Link wields a version of the Master Sword that is at 100% of its power, and then in Tears of the Kingdom it was supercharged by Zelda for thousands of years, which means that this is the strongest version of the sword. So now let's go over its scaling. For starters, in Skyward Sword, the Master Sword is capable of fighting Demise, who is so powerful he literally conquered time itself, so off rip, that's a universal plus feat right there. Now we can get to some of the higher metas with the Master Sword, with it defeating a version of Ganon who has tested the limits of the Triforce of Power, which has scaled to Dyne, who along with the other goddesses created millions of parallel universes. His durability should equal his attack potency thanks to Newton's third law. Now for his CR speed, he should at least be in the FTL ranges with being able to react to multiple lasers. There are arguments for MFTL Plus with the Flurry Rush, but most Flurry Rush calcs stated to be FTL Plus, so it's not reliable. However, you can use it as a high end. Link in this battle will have his best armor, the Master Sword, the Bow of Light, and the Zonai armor abilities like Recall and Ascend. So now, let's decide who the winner really is. Okay, let's be real here. You already knew who the winner was probably going to be if you were still paying attention to the video and the scaling and the statements. But the outcome still remains the same. Jim wins. Jim wins for multiple reasons, with his AP just being higher than Link's, with his also durability being higher, and of course his CR speed is way higher. Even if you take Jim at his low end, it is right at Link's high end CR speed. And also, not to mention, Jim has ways that he can manipulate time, especially with the Kyrosect. He can freeze time and just keep damaging Link over and over again until he's dead without Link knowing. And again, he has like 42 minutes of that stuff. And he can also just keep resetting the fight and recreating a new timeline with the Time Stone to where Link is screwed over. Now you might be wondering, doesn't the ancient arrow have existence erasure? Yeah, that statement is only in the English version, while in the Japanese version that statement isn't there, so that would not give Link existence erasure. Now, to be fair, Link has better all combat training, considering that he was training since he was a little child, while Jim only really started when he was 16, so overall Link does have more experience than Jim. Also, it's worth to mention that Link's Zonai arm is actually pretty powerful, and could really help him in this fight, especially with Ultra Hand and Fuse, where he can grab objects and then fuse them together with his weapons and making them even stronger. And not to mention, he also has Recall and stuff like that can help move objects back in time, so he also has his own version of like a time removal hacks. However, none of this really matters in the grand scheme of things, considering that Jim has learned to use an environment as his weapon and adapt to different environmental cases, to where the moment he sees Link trying to do this stuff, he's gonna try to stop him. Yeah, Link can maybe recall his sword, but Jim could also just teleport the sword right back in his hand and continue the fight and keep going. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't see how this is going to help Link at all. Overall, the hero of the wild Link gave it his best bet, but unfortunately he was outbidded by the Great Troll Hunter, also known as the Gum Gum Slayer, and the Wizard Hunter, James Lake Jr. So the winner is James Lake Jr. And remember,
you didn't see anything.